A lot of really what I do can be done. I have a kind of step-by-step process, and a lot of it can be done even before you get to the lake. So really the first thing that I really try to consider is the season, because the fish can be, like I said, there's an offshore pattern available just about every month of the year, even including the spawn. So um, this is one of the things that can be done before you ever really get to the lake, is really try to understand, what phase you think, and you may not always be right. You get to the lake sometimes and it totally blindsides you. The water temperature is warmer than you think or something like that. But you can get a basic idea. Just say you're going to go out and fish on Lake Athens right now. You're kind of being a wintertime type phase, or it's going to be, early type pre-spawn phase, maybe here in the next few weeks. So that's really the most important, or the starting point for me is, just try to get a basic idea of what you think is going to be happening. And I break it down really into, seasons of the year and phases for the fish. Like, just say, for instance, you're going to go out and you're going to target just about any lake, and definitely in the state of Texas. In your pre-spawn phase, one of the first things that comes to mind, and this is, you've heard it again and again, is, ways they can move from deep or offshore, some kind of wintertime holes, to shallower water. And in pre-spawn, what I like to find is anything that's creek or drain related. In the spawn, again, there's definitely opportunities to catch fish offshore, even though a lot of the early spawn fish will move to the backs of the pockets. If I can catch them offshore on a shallow flat or something like that, anything with hard bottom that meets that depth criteria on a lot of lakes in this state, it's less than 6 foot, any kind of flat like that. That's really one of the coolest times to catch them offshore, is in the spawn, because most people are going to head to the back of a creek or back of a pocket or something like that. Uh, Once we get into the post spawn, that's a really predictable. That's probably my favorite time to catch them offshore, because really that's where most of the fish in the lake are going to be, in that post spawn phase. And I break it down into post spawn and shad spawn. You'll have some fish out there just recovering from the spawn, but a lot of fish, as soon as the spawn's over, are going to get on a shad spawn bite. And really, my number one type of target for that is just kind of any kind of shallow, hard bottom ridges. A lot of these lakes in East Texas, North Texas, have red clay points. That's a perfect example. And the ones that extend way out into the lake are oftentimes the best. You can catch those fish up on a shad spawner in the mornings, and then they'll move out to the ends of those points as the day goes on. Sometimes a lot deeper than you'd think. Yes, sir.
What do you consider a rig?
A ridge, just anything. Sometimes I group it into a big point type of thing, just any kind of hump, anything coming up off the bottom. That's what I would call a ridge. So a lot of times I'll refer to even a point as a ridge, although a point is really something, I guess, that comes out from shallow to deep. So any kind of high spot is what I call a ridge when I'm talking fishing. Yes, sir. Um, but then as we go into, I left off the summer, I guess. Y'all know what to do in the summer. Get out there. But fall, creek channels. Creek channels are really, that's the number one thing that comes to my mind. And again, these are just some of the things that, like I said, a lot of planning for an offshore trip can be done before you ever hit the water.